So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Road Transport and Waterways, Government of India, General Dr. V.K. Singh. Also inviting on stage, Shri Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India, Shri Yashpal Sharma, President Air Cargo Forum India and Managing Director Skyways Group. We have on the dais with us Mr. V.P. Agarwal, former Chairman AI and Vice President FAST. Also inviting Dr. R.K. Tyagi, former Chairman Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. And ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, Shri Dushyant Chautala ji, the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Haryana, is on his way, will be joining us shortly. Once again requesting everybody to be seated, all mobile phones put on to silent mode. Namaskar and good morning. Honorable Chief Guest, General Dr. V.K. Singh, PVSM, AVSM, YSM, ADC, Honorable Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Road Transport and Waterways, Government of India, eminent dignitaries on the dais, special invitees, distinguished delegates, respected members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. I have the proud privilege today in welcoming you all to the inaugural session of the seminar on challenges and opportunities for air cargo during the decade ahead, which is being presented by Foundation for Aviation and Sustainable Tourism, FAST, supported by Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India, with knowledge partners, Air Cargo Forum India, ACFI. FAST, ladies and gentlemen, is a non-profit research body since 1992, duly registered with the International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO). Is primarily concerned with promotion of civil aviation and tourism and acts as a facilitator between the industry and the government to flag off contemporary issues and concerns of stakeholders and help in taking a balanced view approach in the decision-making process. Late Dr. S.S. Sidhu, former Secretary Civil Aviation, Government of India, and Secretary General ICAO, was founder chairman FAST, is presently headed by Lieutenant General K.M. Seth, former Governor of Tripura, and Chattisgarh as its president. And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, General Seth could not be present here with us today due to some unforeseen pressing commitments he had, but he has conveyed his best wishes for the success of the seminar. And ladies and gentlemen, Shri V.P. Agarwal, former Chairman Airports Authority of India, is the Vice President FAST. The foundation is governed by the Board of Trustees who are eminent and professional from civil aviation and tourism. And ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to announce that FAST has so far imparted training to more than 5,000 aircrew during the last 5 years. And to begin, I would request Mr. V.P. Agarwal, Vice President FAST, to do the honors of welcoming and honoring our Honorable Chief Guest, General V.K. Singh ji, with a floral bouquet. And very warm welcome to you, sir. We are indeed honored to have your gracious presence here with us. Thank you, Mr. Agarwal, for doing the honors. I would request Dr. R.K. Tyagi ji to kindly welcome Shri Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India. And Mr. Agarwal to welcome Shri Yashpal Sharma, President ACFI. Very warm welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, as is customary, we begin every auspicious occasion by lighting the ceremonial lamp and invoking the gods and goddesses and seek their blessings for the success of our endeavors. I would now request our Honorable Chief Guest and dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the honors of lighting the ceremonial lamp and formally inaugurating today's seminar. And ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together on the ceremonial inauguration of the seminar on challenges and opportunities for air cargo during the decade ahead. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. V.P. Agarwal served Airports Authority of India as its chairman for more than 5 years. During his tenure, there was huge development of Indian airports. Mr. Agarwal was honored as Distinguished Alumni by IIT Roorkee in the year 2011, and being a visionary and perfectionist, creative and full of passion, he possesses the unique virtue of positive attitude, courage to explore wide new ideas. And I now have the proud privilege in inviting Mr. V.P. Agarwal for the welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome.
ठीक है.
Good morning and welcome to all of you. Since our president could not make it today, so I'll be reading out his speech. I formally welcome General V.K. Singh, Honorable Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Government of India. Shri Dushyant Chautala ji, who is yet to arrive, he has arrived here, so he will be reaching. Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Haryana, Shri Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Union Ministry of Civil Aviation. Shri Yashpal Sharma, President Air Cargo Forum, ACFI. In fact, they are all partners in conducting this seminar, distinguished guests, speakers and participants. It is my profound pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this seminar on challenges and opportunities for air cargo during the decade ahead. In fact, this is the first offline seminar FOSS is holding after nearly 3 years lapse. We distinctly remember in one of our seminars in 2009, it was mentioned that India can and should become the cargo hub for Asia, but unfortunately not much has happened towards making India a cargo hub, and I feel time has come to focus towards the important facet of aviation industry. We are all aware that COVID-19 impacted tourism and aviation sector the most, notwithstanding COVID management of essential items. For managing COVID-19, India's cargo industry played a sterling role. My compliments to stakeholders in the cargo industry for that. In my personal opinion, one of the major drawbacks of Indian cargo industry is the fact that more than 6 to 7 major players or agencies are involved in moving the product from the manufacturer to the air transportation airlines. At each step, there are hurdles which causes avoidable delays. This aspect, I am very sure, can be managed through proper integration and regulatory mechanism. Another issue which I wish to draw attention to the environment is the environmental challenge today. The entire world is busy in finding ways and means to reduce carbon emission. In fact, India is one of the pioneers in its efforts to reduce carbon emission in the next 10 years to manageable proportions. Cargo industry will have to play a major role in achieving this target. In addition to what I have mentioned, there are large number of issues making India a cargo hub of the region, and I leave all those issues to be discussed and deliberated upon in detail by the experts and participants present here. Normally there is a tradition after such seminar we compile the report and send the recommendations to the ministry. Foundation of Aviation Sustainable Tourism has large number of experts of aviation drawn from aviation industry, as there is like member who are willing to extend helping hand. I therefore invite all the stakeholders in cargo industry to avail collective expertise and experience of past for promoting their cause. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, eminent keynote speaker, Shri Yashpal Sharma, President of Air Cargo Forum India, ACFI, and Managing Director, Skyways Group, was able to make the launch, the first web marketplace for air cargo in India for the year 2000. He has been a key driver to take his company for a 17-member team to 800 plus personal team today since 1995. He was instrumental in driving Skyways to other cities in the countries, besides some in foreign countries too. He has been awarded by the industry at various forums. Some of the key ones are Face of the Future Award at India Cargo Awards 2015, Exemplary Leadership Award at Express Logistics and Supply Chain Awards 2017, and Entrepreneur of the Year Award at India Cargo Awards 2017. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and inviting Shri Yashpal Sharma for the keynote presentation. Let's put our hands together.
Very good morning to everybody. Honorable Minister for State, General Singh, Shri, other members of the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be here. It's a pleasure for me to be here amongst all of you and deliver a keynote this morning. I think it's very heartening to see the role and the importance that logistics has started to play around the world. The role of logistics was always there, it was always great, but I think the last couple of years, with the advent of COVID, even a small child has got to know what actually logistics is. Otherwise it was tough sometimes to explain the world. What do we do? What is cargo? What is logistics? What are boxes? But I'm glad that everybody now understands the importance of logistics, and especially air cargo. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to start by setting a context of showing you a small little graph. And if you look at this graph, it talks about last 1,000 years of growth for the mankind, the GDP growth overall. What I want to emphasize through this is that if you look at somewhere in the 17th century, the railways started to play an important role in movement of people and goods. And when you see that, that's the touching point from where actually businesses and the GDP of the world started to rise much better. And if you look at what happened from here, 1900. So I'm sure you don't need to make huge guesses. What happened in 1900 and why the last 100 years or 120 years have seen massive growth. This is the advent of aviation. This is the advent of when humans and subsequently cargo could fly. And see what it did to the world economy. It gave it a lot of wings. It gave it the power to grow, the power to do much more than what we had been doing in the past 1,000 years or possibly 3,000 years. Just again, this is where we are today in the world in terms of the cargo potential, the current movement by air. If we look at the number one airport around the world, like you all know, is Hong Kong, doing a little over 5 million tons last year, followed by Memphis, and subsequently the top 13 or 14 airports I mentioned here. India sits there at 3.14 million tons last year. And this means India together with all Indian airports. So this is domestic as well as international freight. So which clearly shows that we are probably somewhere even behind individual airports in some of the countries, which also means that there is huge potential for all of us. Today we are discussing opportunities and challenges. So this itself clearly demonstrates what kind of opportunity actually the industry and the whole country can actually avail going forward. What can actually air cargo do? You saw the map that I showed you, the graph that I showed you. It can absolutely gigantically boost economic growth. When we talk of economic growth, the movement of goods, if you look at the cities of the past that grew exponentially over the last 1,000, 2,000 years, they were cities who were always port based. The reason was from ports you could move people and goods, and that is why all global big cities of the world were always the cities which had a port themselves or had a port in the very, very close vicinity of them. You look at Mumbai, for example, in India, you look at New York, and there are tons of examples like that. But if you look at the last 2 or 3 decades, and you will see the major fastest growing cities of the world are the ones which actually have great airports, which have a great air cargo ecosystem, because that's where the actual robust businesses start to get interactive. They can move people so that they can come and transact, discuss opportunities and explore opportunities. At the same time, goods could move from there. It could improve supply chains. Imagine if a fashion could move in only 50 days from the point of origin after manufacturing to you. And you could see it on TV, but it could take 50 days to come to you. So this is what an air cargo could do. It could get made today, and tomorrow morning it could be delivered at your doorstep, probably anywhere in the world. That's the power that air cargo brings today. Number 3 is something that we don't really give a lot of importance to, but even the study of NCEAR and various other studies have showed that logistics cost, which has been a prime importance for all of us, even Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Commerce, everybody has been trying to see and explore how could we possibly downplay that. A large part of that is actually idling cost in India and around the world also. But the more that the raw material sits before getting manufactured, it's lying idle, and the more that the goods after manufacturing sit before the point of sale or even at the point of sale without being sold, that's the idling cost. But if today you have big data, you could do a lot of predictive analytics, you could actually make sure that you are able to move goods, manufacture goods to the closest point of sale, reducing idling of goods, and you could reduce that time hugely by using air cargo for your business. This is what Ministry of Civil Aviation is envisaging to do, along with all other ministries and private stakeholders. We are trying to move to 10 million tons. Yes, 10 million tons. This is double of what in Hong Kong, which is the number 1 airport of the world, does today. We last year did about 3.14 million tons, and India is a very unique market where we have 1/3 of the business on the domestic skies. We have 1/3 almost exports and 1/3 is imports. So we have a very percentage of business which flows all through the air cargo chain. But obviously it's a task which is looking very big, but let me tell you, this is definitely possible. Yet another graph that I wanted to show you, it talks about, possibly we look at a 7.5% CAGR which we have been factoring in over the last decade, barring the COVID period, we would get to about 6 million, and if we want to get to 10 million, we're looking at a delta of about 4 million tons in this. So obviously there needs to be a lot of things that need to be done, a lot of areas that needs to be explored, so that we can fill up this delta and all could reap benefit of the same. So what is it actually that we kind of need to do? What is it that will help us to get to 10 million tons and possibly more? First of all, what we all need to look at, so this is not just for the government, but this is also for the private sector, because a lot of facilities and probably 70-80% of business sits with the private sector. We need to constantly look at upgrading our infrastructure. When I say constant upgrading, it means that even though we may have built something which was good to take us today, but it may not be good to take us tomorrow. There is huge advancements in the businesses today. We're not looking at advancements only in terms of how the business is moving, but we have new technologies which are possibly going to come in a flash. You would see that there is going to be, we have our Mr. Chautala here, ladies and gentlemen, maybe give a round of applause to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the interruption. We would like to welcome and honor our guest of honor, Shri Chautala ji, the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Haryana. Requesting Mr. Agarwal to do the honors. And a very warm welcome to you, sir. We are indeed honored with your presence, sir. And over to you, sir, to carry forward your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar, Honorable Minister, Mr. Chautala. It's great to have you here along with us. We're just trying to set the context of the day. So as I was mentioning that the changes that are happening around the world are going to come in a flash. You do see a lot of new innovations like drone technology, for example, which is not historic. It is already there. It's only a matter of time when vertical lifts will be possible for larger aircrafts as well. So you would see that you may not at times to come, you may not need the airstrips that we have built today, but you may need different kind of an infrastructure, different kind of facilities to take care of businesses that can move. We are seeing a big shift between large moves to small moves. We've seen the size of the shipments getting smaller and smaller. Today, with the advent of e-commerce logistics, it has made moving a small little piece like this from one place to another seamlessly very, very possible. So a constant upgrade of infrastructure is going to be a prime need. We definitely do need government to help us and support us by improving some of the facilities at some of the tier 2, tier 3 cities, which will be a great help to the industry, because ultimately a lot of production sits way into the hinterland. They are not sitting today in the metros and the tier 1 cities. They are sitting somewhere in smaller towns. Airline capacity creation. This has been one of the requests that we have been making to Ministry of Civil Aviation, and they've been constantly been kind enough to work at it. We definitely need, if we want to get to 10 million tons, we need a lot of capacity to come in. Sure, the capacity may not get filled up right up front, but we need to have it in place. And that capacity could come in from foreign carriers as well as Indian carriers. I do understand and we appreciate and we want our Indian carriers to grow, and we need some government support to some of those carriers by probably looking at issues that they are probably representing to you, that if they are able to get strength, they will not just be able to give Indian skies a lot of capacity, but also carriers, also customers from around the world. So apart from Indian carriers, till the time they can up their capacities, we need the foreign carriers to be able to fill up the gap and have a lot of capacity available. More the capacity, more competitive the business is, and ultimately the customers would benefit from it. 100% digital. I must appreciate and compliment government and the regulatories for adopting digital in a very, very big way. I think there are times that we've seen government being ahead of the private sector in terms of what they managed to give into the industry, and the industry is doing a catch-up. But there are still certain areas where digital is something that we still can adopt very, very quickly. Two such representations we've already made, which are the e-invoice, right from the shipper's desk. When the data gets originated, we need to move away actually from a document-driven business cycle to a data-driven. Even if you're uploading a document online, it's still a document that travels, and somewhere down the line it will need to be printed. It may just need to be also further than moved as a physical document as well. But you need data to move today. So right at the point of origin, which is the shipper, if you're able to digitize their data, so you're able to make that invoice in an e-form, that can help the further stakeholders in the entire chain to make sure that they are able to digitalize the entire chain. We've also had a request of putting in eKYC. KYC as a process is a very tedious process at times, and today in this world where we are digitally connected, we have Aadhaar and we have so many other different ways of making sure that the identity and other important aspects of every customer are known. Today we could absolutely link it through an e-platform. A single repository, maybe through EGFT or another platform could be there, which could help us to possibly, for a major part of the KYC process, which is manual, to be digitalized. Best global practices need to be welcomed. I think we all, and it's not just for the government but also for the private sector, there are a lot of good practices that we have. Some of the Indian airports, also some of the Indian air cargo ecosystems locally have great practices as well. What we need to do is we need to capture them in other parts of the country as well. We need to take them to each and every airport. We are ahead of the curve in many areas. I think India is doing better than some of the other countries. But yes, there are other practices that we could bring in, sir, from a few other countries of the world and further improve our processes. Connectivity to the airports, I think one of the key needs that air cargo needs to be to move seamlessly is how the airports are connected. So while we do see under Gati Shakti and other initiatives that the government is making, that connectivity sits very, very high on the agenda, but a lot of that connectivity we see is to the ports and the ICDs. We would really appreciate if the major airports of the world get great connectivity from the manufacturing hubs. That will really help the air cargo to flourish, and like I said, ultimately, if air cargo flourishes, the entire GDP does. In true sense, ease of doing business, we all need our processes to be as simple as possible. The very late example of GST suddenly getting implemented on the 30th was a little tough one on the industry, and it's a humble request from our side that we need to create processes, and if there are changes that have to come, they need to be pre-informed. We need to have everybody to be able to do business with a lot of ease. That will help us to build businesses and focus on areas of growth. Quick word about ACFI. ACFI was formed 10 years ago, and we are the only national body which actually has representation in the governing board from all stakeholders. Not more than 2 stakeholders are on the governing board. So whether it is express, whether it is freight forwarders, airlines, airports, CTOs, express companies, custom brokers or bonded truckers, we have representation from all. So we try and always collate information as well as views and ideas and representations from all stakeholders, deliberate them internally, and then bring it to the government and other regulatories as one common voice. What can we do, sir, for you? We have been, this has been part of our presentation that we had done in February as well. That ACFI will definitely come alongside with you. We will work hand in hand with you. We will work like a catalyst for you. We will make sure that we are able to, first of all, stimulate demand. That because there are areas in the country, there are products in the country that have not yet actually been so very well touched for air cargo.
It would also come from developing an ecosystem that is conducive to the aviation in general and cargo aviation in particular. That would in turn require various things. We need to have a manufacturing base of aircraft and aircraft components which is innovatable if we want to look at where we want to be in 10 years time from now. We need to have a strong MRO system. We need to have leasing capability in the country. And then again, the emerging area is the drone. The role of drones in cargo delivery is only set to expand exponentially. So that is an area which we need to look at in right earnest. In fact, in all these requirements that I mentioned, there are hidden challenges also and hidden opportunities also. The biggest challenge that I foresee as of now is that we have actually been the late mover in the race. So we come with this baggage where we need to devise ways of throwing away this baggage and get into the heart of this race. In the meantime, what has happened is that the transshipment hubs, the international routes have coalesced. The stakeholders have actually entrenched their position and consolidated their hold in the market. And I might even dare say that even the consumers have developed a sort of plasticity in their demand, in their behavior. So we would need to break all these things. That is the biggest challenge that we are looking at. I will not get into the technical details of all of them, and I will not even try to touch on the tactical issues on this regard. We might have demands about the presence of the participatory government agencies at the airport, the time that they spend at the airports. There will be issues on the taxation, the international freight, GST was just mentioned. We are aware of that, but since we are looking in at a horizon of 10 years, I will not touch upon these things. Maybe in some other seminar we will have a detailed discussion on these aspects also. But these are issues that need to be looked into. What we can do to begin with is to have supportive infrastructure. Again, Sharma ji had mentioned that we need to have supportive infrastructure. The Honorable Prime Minister had declared the Prime Minister Gati Shakti program, which is in fact the blueprint for what we need to do in the infrastructure. The heart of the Prime Minister Gati Shakti program is that public investment should be for private infrastructure also. And this has to be done through the synergy of the efforts of all the stakeholders. The air cargo industry, like any other cargo industry for that matter, needs the support of various aspects, various stakeholders in this. So the Prime Minister Gati Shakti program would provide the blueprint, and as to quote the Honorable Finance Minister on that, this will be the blueprint for the Amrit Kal as far as the infrastructure is concerned. So we are not just looking at 10 years hence, we are looking at 25 years hence. Another aspect that again Sharma ji had mentioned about the interface of data and information. I think the government is already aware of this and we are working on this. DPIIT has worked out on the UDEP program. My friends sitting here are also aware of this Unified Logistics Interface program, which will take care of the data and information exchange on real-time basis, which will really help in utilizing the resources more efficiently, and real-time exchange of information will also iron out so many issues that sometimes people feel are avoidable, but they don't realize that it is there in the system and maybe we can address them when the time comes. As I said, the air cargo industry is a multi-agency effort. So whatever we intend to achieve can only be possible when you and I work together. Of course, our Honorable Minister is very, very dynamic and he helps us whenever we go to him. And I mean, I don't recall a single instance when I have gone to General Singh and he has not given me a solution. His vast experience in administration is handy and we need to leverage all this so that we can actually bring about a positive change in the industry. The Prime Minister has given the Guru Mantra for what we can do and how we can do. I think I'll just summarize that, just repeat that rather. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vikash, Vishwas or Sabka Prayas. That is going to be the key of achievement of our targets. I think I'll stop here, but before I stop, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and I wish this seminar a huge success. Thank you very much for me.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, today we are honoured to have with us as a guest of honour Shri Dushyant Singh Chautala ji, the Honourable Deputy Chief Minister of Haryana. He is the President and co-founder of the Janayat Janata Party. He represents Uttana Kalan constituency in Haryana Legislative Assembly. Comes from one of the political dynasty of Haryana and brings with him vast managerial and administrative experience and possesses the unique virtue of positive attitude and courage to explore the vibrant ideas. And ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor for his address.
A very good morning to everybody. Honorable Janadike Singh ji, Minister for Civil Aviation, Road Transport, Waterways, Shri ji, Yashpal Sharma ji, Tyagi ji, Agarwal ji, everybody from the industry and friends. I would like to thank Agarwal ji for holding up this seminar on an important issue which is going to not be a discussion today but be a change tomorrow. I think logistics is one important sector where India has moved way forward, and I think luckily General V.K. Singh ji holds both important aspects of logistics, road as well as aviation. And I think a good combination of both can lead a country to become a superpower on one end and a major junction for interaction on the other. I was in the morning in UAE and now I'm here. That is fast transportation. I was just rushed in from the airport. Sorry for being late. But yes, we can achieve if we all work together. I think the speakers before me touched upon every aspect of how important aviation and cargo is. And I will share a story which I heard yesterday only with people from Emirates, that India, they send a wide body or a narrow bodied aircraft, but we don't have horticulture produce moving around. But their flight going to Lahore will be filled with canoes and going back to UAE and supplying them. That is cargo, because if we are sending those produced by ships, there is no time, because it's a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day produce. And similarly on other aspects we have seen in the past how in COVID times, either be medicines or be the vaccinations or be the PPE kits or be the oxygen plants which moved around the world on a faster pace was only possible because of the aviation sector, and we foresee that India would become a big power of cargo mobility, but there are big changes to take place. And I can frankly say that we still have restrictions today where any flight coming in with air cargo to our nation has to deplane everything inside, get it scrutinized, then put it in the plane back which didn't even belong to our country. And that rotation sometimes takes multiple days. And for air cargo, I think the viability decreases. I've studied in the United States and I've seen how you order a pen on Amazon from LA, one point of the city, it will fly to Memphis on a FedEx plane, get sorted in Memphis, come back by evening in LA, and you get the same day delivery. And that is beauty of air cargo, where things will be delivered on time by touching one corner of the nation and coming back. And similarly what we are seeing in Asia, and I think that is a big opportunity for India also today, that we are in the central part of Asia. And as Srivastav was saying, we have that opportunity. That how any plane crossing over India, if the cargo has to be delivered to 2 nations, 3 nations, can easily deplane in India, segregate the cargo and immediately put it on another plane and move it forward. And we are hoping that in the coming days the Union government also relaxes these norms so that we can move forward on a faster pace. I think everybody here who is related to the cargo industry also foresees these big changes. And I think our Prime Minister is visionary. He has taken drastic steps to ease how mobility becomes better and faster. And I think in the coming days, we foresee these big changes also happening. Today, I can proudly say that Haryana also, being a state which is just sharing Chandigarh airport with Punjab and says we have one airport, took another step forward. We had 5 aviation fields in airstrips in Haryana. And now we have moved forward. We have converted one, that is the SR Aviation Hub, into a big project, I think one of the biggest in the world, and the biggest in India I can proudly say. It is one entity that is 7,200 acres big, owned by the state government, and it is going to be the future. And we have moved around the world. We were talking to people at Dubai port day to day before, and I can proudly say they were ready to send in people to analyze how Hisar Aviation Hub is going to be a mobility hub for air cargo and MROs. We are in touch with Airbus, we are in touch with Boeing, and they are willing that if they are given spaces to put up their own MROs there into larger chunks, not as small as a hangar or a 5-acre plot, but they are looking big for a 50 to 100 acre area where they can come in, they can put in their experience and develop the whole infrastructure. And I think if we start doing that around the nation, two things we have in our advantage. One is the area that is available in our country, and the second is the population. I think we are the youngest nation in the world. More than 55% of our population is below 35. But on the other end, one thing that is as a setback for us is that we don't have good aviation related institutes. We need to develop that, and I think with your experience from the industry and the government, we can jointly do that. We are taking up a project for an aviation university in Bhiwani. We are going to now take land and put it out for private sector also to come in and invest onto that sector. We need to develop these arenas where good engineers are not moved out. There is no brain drain to other nations, but yes, we cater, we develop good engineers, we give better facilities to the industry. And then I think what Mr. Yashpal said, that Indian flag carrier, I think that is also an advantage for us. We have a population that can be moved on a plane, as the Prime Minister said, that Hawai Chappal wala bhi Hawai Jahaz mein baithega. We are going to experiment it on 11th. We are going to get a HAL plane, Dornier 225, now to Chandigarh, and then plan it in 2023 when our Hisar Aviation Hub moves on. Then we do 7 routes, that is Hisar to Gorakhpur and other places like Gaya in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, move one to JNK, Jammu, and then to Srinagar, move one from Jaipur to Ahmedabad. We have people who come in, we have 10% of our population, of Haryana's population, into armed forces. If I do good armed forces routes, I think so General V.K. Singh will agree, our Faujis will fly back, because by train it takes them 1.5 to 2 days. But by plane they will be home within 2 hours. So I think these are the things that we need to work on. I think RCS needs to be supported on a larger manner, and especially not only in passenger traffic. I think on horticulture cargo, we need to do it. There is people who are growing flowers, those florists, if they get little support to send a flower that is grown in Palwal. I have a farmer in Palwal who is growing a Brazilian flower. Who could imagine that happening in India? But it's happening there into controlled environment. And if he has a buyer in today Chennai or Mumbai, he cannot send a truck over there. But yes, if he gets that facility, that he books a spot on air cargo today, and the clearances are done at the airport within minutes, and on the next Indigo or a SpiceJet or XYZ flight, they get the flower on board, and within 2.5 hours, it's landed in Chennai. I think he'll get value for money. He'll get extra money for only providing that speed to the produce he's produced. And I think jointly, if we brainstorm, I think it's a brilliant idea to get everybody together in the seminar here today. If we get that idea, I think we are going to touch that new height what India needs, and then your GST will start coming, your revenue will start coming. The more planes we have in our country, the more landings and takeoff. At the Indira Gandhi International Airport today morning, I asked how many international flights are landing, and I can proudly say we have 180 international flights landing within a circle of 24 hours in Delhi. And think about the other cities we have international connection to, and most of them are Indian flag carriers. But yes, there are airports where we need foreign flag carriers also to come in. And we have seen complaints for Emirates coming in for last 3 years because they want to come to Chandigarh, but it's an on-call airport, so still they don't receive any permission for that. But yes, if these steps are taken, if there is competition, if there is better connectivity which is being carried forward, I think we'll take over this. And I would request everybody that if you are looking into air cargo mobility on a better and a larger manner, you are welcome to visit Hisar. Our team will be there. We'll show you around. We'll show you the project. We are going to connect it with a high-speed 2-hour connectivity by rail now, which will be dedicated from Indira Gandhi International Airport to Hisar Aviation Hub. And we are national highways in which somebody drives from Idea also reaches Hisar within 2.5 hours. So it is one new idea which we generated couple of years ago, and we are fruitfully working on it. The runway is complete, the lights will be complete by end of this year or first month of next year. The boundary wall will be complete, and on the other side, with NSIDC, we have joined 10 with the 3,000 acres that we are going to develop it as an industrial hub, a manufacturing cluster where we have recently announced the aero defense policy for aviation sector to come in. And as you said, that drones are the future. We welcome any manufacturer who wants to come in and invest on drone manufacturing in Haryana. We have special subsidies from the state side for people who come in and take these innovative ideas literally on the ground and support the industry to be competitive. I know we have US as a competition, China as a bigger competition in drones, but I think what Indians have done in drone manufacturing could not be achieved by those countries in that short span of time. And if we keep working like this, I think we'll overtake them in the coming future. I would like to thank Agarwalji again for putting this all together, and hopefully that everybody here will work for making our country better, stronger, and with the aviation sector, I think faster in the coming future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that wonderful, insightful address. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Chief Guest, General Dr. V.K. Singh, PVSM, AVSM, YSM, ADC, is presently the Honorable Minister of State for Civil Aviation and also for Road Transport and Waterways. Prior to this, he was the Honorable Union Minister of State for External Affairs and had also held the independent charge for the development of the Northeastern Region, Ministry of Planning and Statistics, and the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs. He has been the Honorable Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha, since the year 2014. General Singh was the 24th Chief of Staff in the Indian Army from 2010 to 12. In 2015, he spearheaded Operation Rahat for evacuation of the Indian citizens and other foreign nationals from war-torn Yemen. In 2016, he led Operation Sankat Mochan to rescue Indians from South Sudan. In 2018, he led efforts to locate missing Indian workers in Iraq at a time when the country was fighting ISIS. Recently, in Ukraine war, he played a key role in bringing back students from Ukraine, and he possesses a unique virtue of positive attitude and courage. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Honorable Chief Guest for the Inaugural Session.
Good morning, everybody. On the dais today with me, Dushyant Chautala ji, the Deputy CM Haryana, and he has very nicely elucidated the challenges and what we can do. Shri ji, our economic advisor, Shri Yashpal Sharma ji, President Air Cargo Federation, and Mr. V.P. Agarwal ji, Shri R.P. Tyagi ji, all our distinguished guests from the industry, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be amongst you, and on a subject which is not only important, but I think if I'll say it is a subject which can make India attain the targets that it has set for itself. Air cargo plays a pivotal role in the economy of any nation. The chart that was shown by Yashpal ji very simply elucidated what happens when the air services and air cargo and all other things connected with air become bigger and bigger in any country. And a nation can truly leverage this advantage if it makes an effort where the air cargo is concerned. Somehow, I think we have concentrated more on passenger traffic rather than on air cargo, and that is why we are where we are, 3.14 metric tons in 21-22. It's going up, but we need to set the priorities and the systems right. Now, air cargo terminal operators, ground handling service providers, integrated express service providers, forwarders, domestic cargo transport service providers and custom house agents, they're all part of this entire ecosystem. And I feel that ecosystem needs to become much more efficient and bigger, then only will we be able to take the air cargo services to the targets of 10 million tons by 2031 easily. Everybody counts in the chain, and that is what is more important. We also have the challenge of interacting with a wide variety of service providers and various agencies when the cargo goes abroad, whether cross-border is concerned or the other countries are concerned. This linkage also has to grow. Until the time we don't create common protocols, common linkages, common procedures, and things which will not only help them but also help us and adopt commonality in clearances, till then I think we will keep getting stuck in the blocks that we create for ourselves. It would be proper to say that economic health, if you have to measure it, of globe, then air cargo is the barometer, and that is how we should take it. That is, barometer has to be really good. Then only the economic health will be measured properly and will be able to contribute towards the economic health. It was well said that India is located beautifully in the manufacturing hubs from the east and west. We are so located that we are also near the consumer or consuming economies in the Europe and other areas. But what we need to understand is what is it that needs to be done. And I'll say that we need to at times make our decision making very slow. We could have become an air hub for Central Asia 10 years back. But we kept thinking what is to be done, who will do it. But then the Turkish Airlines took that away from us. If Ethiopian Airlines are a hub for whole of Africa, while we have very large number of people who want to fly the airlines that we have lagged behind. We have actually at times taken half-hearted measures which result in more harm than any good coming up. And same is true for air cargo. Our reliance has been on belly loading. Our reliance has been on carriage of cargo in a manner in which you have to make your preference between the passenger who are carrying their stuff as well as the freight that has to be. We need to turn this. If you look at it, how much Blue Dart and DHL carry from India? Large number of, and it's been there for almost 15-20 years. Not now. They have been the main carriers of freight from here, and they fly it in freight aircraft. They don't fly it by just belly loading. So that is a change that has to come. What else needs to be done? It has to be a whole of government approach, and it has to be a whole of industry approach. By just saying it has to be a whole of government approach, things will not come about. Industry also has to pitch in. And when we look at the whole of government approach, all the security agencies, custom agencies, airports, the security at the airports, everything gets combined into it. And I am convinced that today, by adopting technology, by adopting digital means, everything can be simplified. Everything can be simplified. The only thing is, our mental blocks have to go. And these mental blocks are the ones which create a problem. For example, if today you can make another airport see exactly what security is doing at an airport which is, let's say, further south in India, he can see what is being checked out there, he can see what is being loaded. After that, what is the requirement for him to recheck it? You will save time. When you save time, it amounts to better economy, because time is money. So there is a lot that can be done. Similarly, all paperwork needs to go away, except for what may be essentially required for organizations like audit. Otherwise, there is no need. Everything can be stored on your computers. Everything can be, to make sure that the data doesn't get corrupted or hacked. You can have 2-3 various means to do that, and all permissions come in and they are clear, so that it becomes faster. Even before the thing comes to the airport, I think wherever it is warehoused, from there the whole chain should start, so that it just comes in, gets that immediate quick security check by the technology that is available today, which can do deep penetration checks of any type of item which is there, and off it goes. And same is for our perishable cargo. There is a great demand. Great demand for, let's say, Tripura pineapple, which is going in Dubai and selling for a huge price. If you don't create a system in Tripura for this to go out fast enough, then you will not get the same price. Which means that you need to have a flight which should be able to either take it straight from there, or if you are going to change it into another aircraft, then it has to have a faster clearance than for the type that we are doing today. So there is a need to also create, where the agri-produce is concerned, we need to have the irradiation machines at various hubs, so that the thing can be get irradiated and meet the international standards. Irradiation also increases the life of the product. So it is that much better. And we need to accordingly now, industry and the government needs to work together to map out where do we put all this. You can't put it everywhere initially. So we need to ascertain ourselves on the needs of the industry, as well as how the government can pitch into that. Then only things will start working. And where the mental blocks are concerned, let me take you to what happened to the passports. Those who have got their passport made, let's say 20-30 years back, would know that there used to be a recommendation to be signed by a Class A gazetted officer. Now somebody living in a village had to look for a Class A gazetted officer. So he used to find some dalal somewhere who will come with the signatures, take his money, and By the time you got your passport, it was 3-4 months gone. And I think everybody used to have a party when the passport came home. And today, you pick up your mobile, there's a mobile app out there. You punch in everything, deposit your money, take your appointment, you don't have to go anywhere. The appointment is also confirmed by on your mobile. Go there, deposit your documents. 24 to 48 hours, your passport reaches your home. Now, earlier we had this block, no, class A gazetted officer. Today, the government has decided, well, if a person gives it in writing on a plain piece of paper, I don't have any criminal background, accept it. But if we have, then after that, fix it. So that fear also remains that I can't, just give a simple paper like that. So there is a change required similarly in our system to clear cargo, to handle cargo, to ensure that the customs services are provided on a 24-hour basis whenever the cargo comes. And in today's world, information and everything can be tracked. When did the aircraft take off from New York or from San Francisco, which is coming here? You can actually track it when it is landing. So with all those means available, I think things should become easier, and it should be easy for all of us to ensure that the industry reaps the benefit, and this benefit gets translated into taking us to that 5 trillion economy that we talk of. It is, I am convinced that it is air cargo which will get us much more revenue. It is air cargo which will be able to give a boost to the industry so that they can supply things in time. It is the air cargo which will be able to ensure that whatever is produced in the country can be evacuated as fast as possible to wherever it has to go, whether it is within the country or outside the country, and it will make a tremendous difference in the economic prosperity all over, both in the industry as well as for the common people. So we, I think, need to put our heads together. You have 2 technical sessions, and I would be very happy that the experts who talk in those technical sessions, at the end of it, do take out some actionable points. And those actionable points are the ones which are for the industry as well as for the government. We'll be very happy to, and we'll be very happy to have them from you so that we can also see as to what we need to do. Because it is not that the government has the Brahma's knowledge. Government also needs to learn from the industry, and the industry needs to learn from the government. Then only things will happen. So I would expect these suggestions from you so that we can make things better. And there was another thing which General State had put into this subject today of sustainable tourism. Great potential where India is concerned. What we have, I don't think any other country has it. You have architecture in temples which is 3,000 years old, still intact. But we don't know how to market it. We don't know how to create that ecosystem which small countries have created to market tourism, which is not even 1/100th of what we have. And they are doing extremely well. So we need to create an ecosystem of trained guides, trained people who will be able to ensure that people feel secure, accommodation which is clean, and in any case today with the Swachhta mission, a lot of places are becoming much more cleaner than what they used to be. And we have a cadre which is able to meet the needs of people who speak different languages. I had the pleasure long time back to be in Jaisalmer, and I found kids who were studying in 7th and 8th speaking 3 different languages. They had learned it on their own. And they were pretty good with the tourists who used to come, who used to suddenly find there is a person who can speak German and can guide me. We need to create a large ecosystem, and same is true for the air cargo industry. Wish you all the very best, and I'm sure with your support we will be able to reach the targets that we have set for ourselves. Thank you very much. Jai.
Valuable time and being here with us. I would now request Mr. V.P. Agarwal to kindly do the honors to present a memento to our Honorable Chief Guest, General Dr. V.K. Singh.
ACFI.
Thank you once again, sir, for being here with us. Requesting Mr. Agarwal to also present a token of gratitude to our guest of honor, Shri Dushyant Chautala ji. I would now request Dr. R.K. Tyagi ji to do the honors of presenting a token of gratitude to Shri Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation. And Dr. Tyagi to also honor and present a token of gratitude to Shri Yashpal Sharma. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tyagi has 40 years varied experience in ONGC Pawan Hans and thereafter as CMD Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. May I now invite you, sir, to kindly say a few words of thanks. Thank you.
Giving thanks and gratitude is always a very pleasant duty, and I am fortunate that I have this duty today. And first of all, my gratitude to General Dr. V.K. Singh ji, PVSM, AVSM, YSM and ADC for having agreed to be our chief guest and address the participants today. In fact, General Sahib, I must tell you that you have been our role model ever since you commanded the Eastern Command. And after that, we have seen your action in Yemen, Operation Rahat, and also then we have seen how in this Ukraine crisis you led from the front and evacuated our students. And in fact, sir, we have also been seeing, like when Piyush ji told that next 5 years we will have one aircraft introduced in the Indian skies. In fact, I recall in one of the meetings you said that all these aircrafts will be from the foreign OEMs. And I remember you spearheaded the initiative where we said we should have a regional transport aircraft designed and developed by our Indian means. That was one. And I also recall, sir, your initiative in making India Atmanirbhar as far as the aero engines is concerned. In fact, I must tell the audience that is one area which is very dear to the heart of General Singh sir. He said any machine which is flying in India must have an aero engine made in India. That is where the true Atmanirbharta will come. So indeed, sir, we are very fortunate to have a role model and inspiring leader like you. I think we will not be miser on the claps. And equal pleasure in listening to Mr. Dushyant Chautala, a youngster who is highly educated, a person who is educated in California, a person who has a award from basically the Cooperation Commission of Arizona, the president of TT Federation of India, and the way he explained about how Hisar is coming and Haryana is coming on the aviation ban. In fact, I am also one of the jury members of award committee of FICCI, and last year when we reviewed the progress made by different states into the civil aviation, we found that Haryana is emerging as the most friendly and proactive state under RCS program, and lot of good initiatives are taking place. My compliments to you, sir, and thank you very much for coming here and addressing the gathering today. Piyush Srivastava ji, like one of the most difficult area which we find in Indian Airlines is the financing. In fact, they say sometimes jokingly that if you want to convert a billionaire into a millionaire, ask him to start the airline. So good that Piyush ji is now helping with aircraft leasing and financing and is coming out with all these schemes where people will be able to get a funding on that. And Yashpal Sharma ji, yes, as the president of ACFI, you gave us a very good vision on what air cargo can do. And you also showed us that chart of 1000 years of the GDP, that lot of growth has come now. I had seen a chart earlier which told that 300 years back, India used to contribute to 25% of GDP of the world, which is now, of course, only at least 2% or so. So I wish when after 10 years you will be able to show this chart again, you will be able to show that India is progressing really well as far as the multiples of GDP is concerned. So thank you very much for coming and giving us enlightenment on what is happening in cargo. Our grateful thanks to President FAST and his board of trustees and our associates, Air Cargo Forum India, for the help as noise partner and other eminent dignitaries who, in spite of their busy schedule, have come and graced the occasion. And we also profusely thank the media and all the participants for being part of this seminar. We also thank India Glycols Limited, Civil Aviation Department, Government of Haryana, Skyways Air Services Private Limited, GMR, DIAL, and other organizations for having financially supported this event. We are indeed obliged to all of them. And also my thanks to all of you, dear delegates. It is always a pleasure seeing you. In fact, I can see many faces here in the delegates. I can see my teachers like Mr. Barwa sitting here in the front. I can see many colleagues like Mr. Shahi, Mr. Rawat, Sandeep, and all those people with whom we have been spending last 20 years together in learning various facets of aviation. So all dear delegates, thank you very much. We look forward for next 2 sessions, which will be the technical sessions full of the knowledge and wisdom about the aviation and air cargo. Thank you very much. And also, Sapna, thanks to you for conducting this event so well. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for those words of thanks. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I once again take this opportunity in thanking all our eminent dignitaries here on the dais for kindly sparing their valuable time and gracing this occasion. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we close the proceedings of the inaugural session. We shall now break for tea, which will be of 15 minutes. And we will commence with the proceedings of our first business session after the tea break in 15 minutes. And before we go ahead for the tea break, I would request all our eminent speakers of the upcoming sessions to kindly load their presentations with us. Once again, thanking Honorable Chief Guest. And can we request for a group photograph, sir, of the panel on the stage? And ladies and gentlemen, let's again once put our hands together to thank our Honorable Chief Guest, our guest performers, and all of the dignitaries for sparing with their time and being here with us today. Thank you once again.